Absolutely.
Actually, want to kick off?
So we will start with our Black Series line. So obviously, as you know from previous years, we're going to talk to you about some of the stuff in the current line. And obviously, as you can tell from these delightful black boxes, we've got some new stuff to share with you, which is very exciting. So in our Black Series line, obviously, you know our Darth Vader helmet. This has been out in market for a few months, and I think we had this last year as a prototype. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but literally probably the best helmet we've ever done. You guys are all familiar with the features,
Until next
so I won't
year.
belabor those. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. We've got, as you can see, some of our convention exclusives out. Again, those have been out since San Diego, so won't spend too much time there. But Steve will talk to you a bit later about kind of some of the differences between those and mainline. So we have our Han Solo and Minok there. First time we've gotten the Minok out, which is pretty cool. Coming over to this table, so our Force FX roleplay line. So as you guys know, kind of the figural expressions are core to Black Series, but we know that premium roleplay is also important, obviously with the helmets and with the more weapon-oriented items. So we've got our Force FX Riot Baton that launched a couple of months ago in August. Very cool addition to our Force FX line, all kind of the cool features, the real metal handle, premium parts, premium deco, and then obviously, there we go. So spring action, yeah, exactly. Spring action, it's got the lights and sounds vibrating handle, so very cool addition to the Force FX roleplay line. There you go. You can do the swinging action. Yeah?
No, I can just put it away.
Force FX lightsabers then. So obviously, there you go. So obviously, Force FX lightsabers have been a staple in our kind of premium line for years and years. We relaunched these in 2015 with the addition of that accelerometer. As you guys know, we're always trying to make those kind of more movie accurate, kind of dive deeper into that fantasy role play. So we launched them in 2015 with that accelerometer, and we've been kind of slowly working through the key ones. I think we announced these at San Diego Comic-Con. 2019, obviously, prequels. Very excited to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the prequels. So we've got Mace Windu, Darth Maul, and Anakin Skywalker. We didn't have these products at San Diego, so this is the first time you guys are seeing the products. Which is
I should
cool.
know where the button is, right? There we are.
Yeah, there we go. Mace Windu
What colour is that? Purple, pink, fuchsia? It's a new Pantone colour. Nice.
There we go. We can do a little.
We can do it. It'll withstand.
All right. So I'm clearly not trained in the Jedi arts. So first time you're seeing those, packaging as well. And actually, these are going on pre-order live tomorrow at basically all of the major retailers. So this is kind of the first time we're announcing that pre-order for these Force FX lightsabers. That won't be on shelf until 2019. But again, these three celebrating the 20th anniversary will be available for pre-order tomorrow.
And to be clear, I don't know whether you mentioned it, this is two of them put together.
Yes, good point. So like the last time we did Darth Maul, it comes with a single blade and a connector piece. So you have a little extra disposable income, you buy two, and you get the whole Darth Maul fantasy. And obviously, of course, buy the Obi-Wan for a friend to roleplay with you.
Indeed.
So that's our premium roleplay line. 6-inch figures, also obviously very exciting. So we've got 2 waves coming to the U.S. this fall. We revealed, I think, most of these figures earlier in the spring with the Han Solo movie, some of them at Comic-Con. But this is, I think, we had some of them at Comic-Con, but not all. So the figures for this fall include, obviously, a bunch from the Han Solo movie. So the Imperial Patrol Trooper, L337. We've got our Val Mimban back there, and Rio Durant right there. Then some classic ones here in our second row here. So Lando and Leia, obviously 2 kind of key characters, and Dengar, finally finishing off our Bounty Hunter line, which is very cool. Chopper and Ezra, we revealed at Comic-Con, they're coming next year. And then these 2 items right here were actually, I think these are the first time they're being seen in the U.S. So these were revealed at Mexico Unboxing Toy Convention and at Fan Expo up in Canada. So we announced this on our San Diego Comic-Con panel. Basically, you know, we know that this is a global business, we have global fans, and, you know, it takes us a little while, but we want to kind of bring them into the fold and celebrate them, because they're just as big of fans as the U.S. fans. So we went to those conventions, just a couple reveals. We're never going to kind of reveal, you know, as much as we do at San Diego Comic-Con, because that's the biggest one.
I think it's kind of about spreading the love across all the different conventions across the planet. It sounds very grand.
Yeah.
But, they're additional. I know, some people go, oh, you're only releasing 2, you're only showing 2, but we we just want to kind of try those, test those waters out, and see how we want to sort of treat conventions globally going forward. So there's a few more of those coming up,
which we'll announce on Sunday.
Yeah. Keep your eyes open for those.
Exactly. So that's our mainline 6-inch figures we've got here. Now we also announced at San Diego Comic-Con a new line called the Archive line. And we talked a little bit about the reasoning there, but basically I was kind of twofold. It was, we've heard from a lot of fans who, they're like, this Black Series stuff is amazing. Like, I want these characters, but I also want those foundational characters that you started with 5 years ago and now sell on eBay for hundreds of dollars. $100, yeah. So how can you get those back out? And we actually had a lot of conversations about the best way to do that and give those fans what they wanted, but also like not just reissue them, and then the people who bought them the first time are like, well, what do I get for my efforts? And we also, as we know, we've got the photoreal deco, and so we wanted to work that in. So as we announced at Comic-Con, we're releasing that archive line at the beginning of 2019 with our 3 bounty hunters that we've done already, so they'll all be on shelf at the same time. So if you want to get into Black Series with those bounty hunters, that's the time to do it. And then, of course, the Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot. We haven't shown the packaging yet, and we will be doing that tomorrow on our live stream.
Yes.
So tune into our live stream tomorrow to see that packaging for the first time. That's obviously our first wave. It's not going to be our only wave, and so our first reveals for today are some new archive figures for fall of 19.
So I guess the question is, who should we bring back?
Yeah.
Who's annoying you all on eBay in terms of how much it's costing?
Yeah.
That's an open question to the floor.
Hopefully whatever you're thinking in your brains right now will match up perfectly with what's behind these black boxes. So, our first archive item, come on in. Our first archive item for fall of 2019 is...
drum roll. Little bongo drums. Bongo, bongo, bongo.
There we go. Yoda. So obviously, the Jedi Master of them all, we got to bring him into the line. Basically how we pick these, without going into too much detail, it's a combination of, obviously we read the fan sites, we know what fans are talking about, and honestly we also look at resale values.
Yeah, exactly, and it's we just put names in a hat and we call it out. No, we don't really. it is based on, which ones are the hardest ones to get for people, which ones are they spending a lot of money on, and which ones do we think we can update. And Yoda is a good example, I think. With the photoreal process on Yoda, I think will really give him a new lease of life within the Black Series figure size. So very excited to see him kind of finished. I think what we're seeing there is a painted prototype. Well, not prototype, it's a real figure, but the photoreal will look really, really smart on Yoda.
So photoreal is the first time on a creature, right?
Well, we announced it on Jabba in the vintage, but yeah, and he's great. He's got big eyes, so you can really take advantage of the photoreal. It's going to look really good because we wanted to improve him.
Do we have photoreal on Rio?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So no, it's not.
First time on a creature in the archive line. And I always come up with a cool spin.
But Yoda deserves it, so he's a good one.
I'm sorry, I meant with the photoreal on Yoda, is photoreal for Empire, photoreal for prequels, or?
It's a good question. It's original OT. It's OT.
So yeah, I think the other thing we kind of overlay is just which of these items kind of deserve to be in our greatest hits in our Hall of Fame. So it's kind of that overlay of which are worth the most and which kind of are celebrated by the fans as the biggest ones. So Yoda coming in fall 18 to our archive line. But we've got 2 more here. So who else do we think could be in that archive line? Drum roll.
This is going to be a thing.
I know this is going to get. By the time we get to the last one, you're going to be like, just do it. All right, next one.
Get off the bongos, Patrick. It just shows.
Ta-da! Anakin Skywalker. So I didn't
one of the most expensive ones.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say. So when we launched this at San Diego Comic-Con, so we read a lot of the sites a lot of the time, and so it's kind of fun just seeing the reaction and also seeing what the recommendations were. And I read a lot of comments about, well, next wave they've got to have Anakin Skywalker, and yeah. High price, obviously foundational to the Star Wars saga, like Anakin Skywalker, it's all about his story. So bringing him back again with the photoreal deco, the 2 heads, so key addition to our archive line. Anything else to add?
Just, it's nice to actually have a head with an expression, and we haven't done those too much, but Anakin is a great one to have, that photoreal and his angry look, especially with his weird eyes. Yeah. So he's cool, and that's not a hint that he's in Episode 9. Anybody? Okay, no, there's no correlation, so don't take that.
Nothing we show you today is at all related to Episode 9. Lucasfilm, if you're watching, this disclaimer's for you.
No.
But yeah, so those 2 for our archive line. Our final one, when we did this, we realized that, you know, obviously we had released figures in mainline before, but we also released figures in a lot of different places as well, in different sized expressions, in convention exclusives, etc. And we realized that this could be a great way to kind of get those out as well in a different form. So our final reveal for today, our final figure for fall of 18 in the archive line is our Biker Scout Trooper. So obviously this guy was first released, oh, he's right next to the Imperial Patrol Trooper. That's a nice little... Nice little partnership, yeah. So obviously he was released in 2013 with our speeder bike. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously a trooper, foundational to the line. Troopers are huge army builders, and so we wanted to get him back out for anyone who missed out on him the first time in that speeder bike combo. So our archive line for fall of 18, fall of 19.
It's great. Patrick, thank you.
You're welcome, Steve.
Yeah, you're very welcome back. We're like Chip and Dale, goodness me. So here we see our Dewback and our Emphasis speeder. You know, we've been doing the vehicles for a while. We've done, you know, race speeder, we've done land speeder, and we're trying out always looking for these kind of new price points and new expressions. And you know, we've had our 19.99, we've had our kind of $60 price point. Had a $40, and we kind of wanted to try some new price points. And there's also some figures that we haven't done or haven't been able to do that would fit into this. A, physically fit into this box, and B, physically fit into the amount of plastic or soft goods in particular that we would need to do to kind of bring this to life in 1999. So I'm going to jump straight to it. So there's a reveal in here, and you'll notice it's a slightly bigger box, and it's going to, I'll eke this out for about half an hour. It's a figure that everyone's been asking for. It's a figure that I'm sure every one of you are thinking, oh, it's going to be that one.
I know what it is.
So see, there you go. So it's a really good figure.
Hopefully it's the one she thinks it's going to be.
All right, I've got to stand back because you're going to say. We're not sorry it's been so long.
Tell us what it is before you reveal it.
It's. Am I going to tell you or not tell you?
I've heard since
What is it as it comes out? It is.
That's
Oh my
right.
gosh, I'm so
correct.
good.
Absolutely correct. I'm going to move this slightly forward. So Grievous, it's coming in. It's going to be a $29.99 price point, very similar to Moloch and the Gamorrean Guard that we've released as exclusives. Comes with all the lightsabers, comes with incredible soft goods. The devils behind the Grievous design decided to do one side of his cloak one colour and the inside a different colour, which proved a lot of extra material for us. So, you know, we really want to kind of put it all in for that price point. The arms split, so you can actually put them together as two arms, or they split out into four arms. There are little pockets in the cape as well to hold all the hilts. Obviously, these all kind of pop off and can store in there. Mental articulation on that one. This is obviously a proto, so I won't bend it at all. But really pleased to kind of bring him, and he will usher in a new kind of price point, size point of figures that we need to do and haven't been able to do. And I'm sure you can all think of other figures that can fall into. So, you know, please give us suggestions and kind of who you'd like to see at that scale and at that price point. But Grievous will be our first mainline. Coming out in spring
of 19.
Spring 19.
So I think, kind of to what you said, the key thing there is doing them the right way. Like, we've obviously, as you've heard, rumored, I'm sure, been wanting to do Grievous for a long time.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do him the right way in the main
he would
line
have
of
been without. We'd be
exactly.
with less lightsabers, not
No
soft
cloak.
goods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
no.
rather than do that, we know that fans want him the right way, and so that's why we brought in this new price point.
So we've got one more reveal here, which is an exclusive. Kind of built off this. We kind of got inspired by doing him, and we were looking back at a certain cartoon, and you got to look way back at a certain cartoon, and we thought we'd give him an adversary in the Black Series. Now remember, we take any cartoon stylization, we build it, we make it sort of real life in Black Series. We bring it into like as if it was live action. So we've taken some creative liberties and created a figure that I really love, and that is our clone armoured Obi-Wan Kenobi from the, I can never pronounce this guy's name right, Tartakovsky, thank you, missed that syllable. Clone Wars. We just love the way that armour and the cape was used. We're using an Episode 3 Obi-Wan likeness. It'll have photoreal as well. That is an exclusive to, I always forget, it's an exclusive to a.
We'll get that information.
Yeah, apologies. I think it is, but I want to be sure.
That was a different one. I don't want to say it. I think it's Walgreens, but
is it?
let's
okay.
confirm it.
I can confirm that. Yeah. So there we have Obi-Wan Kenobi in his clone trooper armor.
So just curious, do you happen to know if that head sculpt will fit on the previous?
I knew you were gonna. I knew someone would ask that. I meant to ask Tom. I will. While he's talking his next bit, I will text our sculptor and make sure. I would imagine so, because they're as crazy as you guys in terms of liking things to be unstoppable.
Crazy in a good way.
Crazy in the way,
Yeah.
the crazy way, however you want to take it. But yeah, I'll check that out for you. So there's 2 new reveals there. So it's cool.
Fantastic.
What's
Take us over to
Oh well, I won't text Tom quite yet.
the elephant in the back.
All right. So, the barge. Have I told you about the barge? So this is what we call an EP. So it's an engineering prototype. So it's from the factory. They make a few of them, and we bring it in and we check it. So it's not totally finished, not totally perfect. We've got some things we've got to sort out with the sales, but we want to kind of bring it to show you kind of how it's going. And I hope you agree it's going really well. The paint apps are coming on really nicely. The mold textures, does it have mold textures? Oh, it doesn't have mold textures. So the mold textures haven't been put on yet. So we just kind of wanted to bring that and kind of showcase, you know, our figures. We got our we got yak face, you know, proper. Is it proper? No, it's actually a prototype there. So we got yak face. We got Klaatu. You know, we got the Afro. You know, Afro might be on there. You know, maybe Emphasis snuck aboard. It's all kind of within the same time period. She'd be a bit older now. And you can see some of our figures there. We got our, you know, our Death Star gunner, our trooper, which we've announced in Lando. So just kind of wanted to show you that update and how it's going, how it's looking. And obviously we're releasing those videos sort of every month or so, just kind of updating everybody. But we are at engineering prototype at the moment, so it's going really, really well. So that's what we have there.
And actually, Steve mentioned our updates. So we do these every month or so. I think we had our last one last month. We'll be doing another one, I believe, next week, but we will be sneak peeking it on our panel. So if you are in New York, come to our panel 1:15 on Sunday and get a sneak peek at our new update for the barge.
Are you doing those?
I think you're doing the top
Am
one.
I doing?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember who's in there?
I do remember who's in there. I do remember who's in there. So one thing I've noticed, and I'm sure you've all noticed, is everyone's gone mad on eBay and just gathering all the figures ready. It's almost like building a nursery for a new baby. It's like they're like gathering all their stuff and they're gathering all their figures. So we kind of wanted to just make sure that people had opportunities to get certain figures. So we're re-releasing. We're releasing this little piggy baby, which I forget. I got to remember my. Who's taking this one?
I think this is Shared Fan.
Shared Fan.
Yeah.
So we're going to put
retailers.
Gamorrean Guard back out there so people can have an opportunity to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. As mentioned before, he'll have the same VC number. So it's now you're testing me 23. I want to say. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. So we'll be bringing him out. So you have a chance to get that. So and you know, who knows? Maybe there'll be some more barge figures in the near future.
So that's that one. Yeah. So for our next reveals here, so we've talked a lot internally.
Put that in.
Oh yeah, take pictures of that. We've talked a lot internally about how we kind of do this big dog and pony show for reveal of new figures on re-released figures, and then kind of that packaging just shows up on shelves somewhere, usually in Asia because they kind of are closest to where we produce them, and we kind of don't do anything to celebrate that, and how that's kind of a miss on our part.
He's 21. And now I can text the phone.
And did we get confirmation on the Obi-Wan?
I'm going to text him right now.
I'm trying.
That's all good.
Sorry.
In any case, back to my conversation. So we realize this is especially true for vintage packaging. Like, we always talk about this and we always hear about it from you. Like, the packaging is as important as the figures. Like, they're a combo deal. It celebrates the heritage of 41 years of Star Wars. And so we wanted to start doing that, showing you guys the packaging rather than it just showing up. So we've shown the packaging for all of our 2018 items. Those were all at Comic-Con. For 2019, as you know, our first wave consists of Leia in her Bouche outfit, which the figure's down there. Oh, I think we should also say this is the first time in the U.S. that we're showing the Leia Bouche figure, who was revealed, I believe, at Mexico Unboxing Toy Convention. And she does have the photoreal deco, so that's the first time that's being seen here in the U.S. But back to the packaging. So our Leia Bouche, our Yak Face, Klaatu, and then the Scarif Stormtrooper figures. So these were announced kind of throughout the year. Yak Face and Klaatu were announced, obviously, with the launch of the barge. Scarif Stormtrooper at San Diego Comic-Con, and then Leia Bouche at Unboxing Toy Convention. So we wanted to show the packaging, so that's what we've got here. packaging for the very first time for those 4 figures. Please don't fall.
It's gonna fall.
So we see our Klaatu right here. So obviously that one, you know, heritage figure. So classic packaging there.
We've, you know, I grew up with this stuff.
Yeah.
Probably most of you, not all of you. You don't look old enough. These images are like quintessential to our childhood. But I'm telling you, finding some of these images are really difficult. Like really difficult. The amount of wouldn't have been Photoshop in those days. The amount of Photoshop work that went into that one. We found the original image and it's basically cropped here. So it's like, oh, expand that blue, and when you look at it again, you can actually see how wonderfully bad they were in the 80s. And it's like, my goodness, it's just like a flood of blue. So, but we basically said to our the packaging team, I said, just make it look really bad as it floods out, because it's got to look the same. Yeah. So had some good fun, and that's not even the most challenging one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we ran into a similar thing last year with our 40th anniversary expression. That was interesting because it was a different size. So taking those original images and somehow making them fit in the space,
yeah.
it's not as easy as you or I would probably think it would be.
This is, his wash came out really well.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased. I know, sometimes when we do the prototypes and everyone goes, they're not going to get that wash. This one is probably one that really proves that when it comes to final product, it actually.
What number is he?
He's going to be 135.
So that is our packaging for that guy. So this one right here, you can see kind of it's of the same wave here. So this one is, I think, new packaging. Yeah, this was, you don't know which one it is. Again, it is new packaging. So it's not a classic item. So the packaging for our Scarif Stormtrooper is right there.
And this is like a good little routine. And another interesting thing about, so remember how when this was made, when Jedi was being made, this is being made, when we're still actually doing Rogue One, actually.
Yeah.
That's goodness me, yeah. We don't always have access to on-set. We certainly don't have access to film outs because the film hasn't been released yet, and there are only a certain amount of film outs that get released. So we have to work with Lucasfilm to find set photos and studio photos and sort of candid kind of on-set photos to kind of choose the ones. And you'll see when you look back at the old ones, like, I never remember Obi-Wan Kenobi holding a yellow lightsaber up like that. So you'll see that we remain true to the way that these were made. And as we go forward, it's going to be interesting how we kind of build up those images from whatever we can get hold of for this movie and movies to come. But it's a fun process. It's actually kind of charming in a way.
And he is a vintage collection 133, Scarif Stormtrooper. So those two guys are final two for the first wave packaging. So Leia Bouche, again, classic packaging there from the 1980s. And again, you can see the photoreal deco for that figure in there.
And we definitely insisted on the extra bubble. It was like, hey, do we put this in a bubble, an extra bubble? It's like, why are we even asking that question? Of course we do. Even if it looks slightly odd against the tablet, the color tablet. But yeah, So anyone with a separate helmet like that, if it harkens back to an original one, we will do a separate bubble.
Absolutely. And then our final one, obviously, our King of the Barge, Yak Face.
Yay.
Right there in his classic packaging. Yeah, oh, fair enough. Salt Mare. I don't know.
So when he's with the barge, he'll be Yak Face. Yeah. And when he's out regular, he'll be that one.
Absolutely. So that's our vintage packaging. No worries. We've got another table of vintage over there.
I want to tell one story on this one. Sorry. I've got Tom on the. He's checking.
This is all happening live.
Yeah. So interesting story on this one. As some of the Eagle Eye people, when we announced this when did we show? Yeah, it was during the Barge campaign. Yeah. We had the image of like, hey, extra.
That toy fair, yeah.
And one of the fans out there, I can't remember his name, said, "That's not the same photo. That's a different photo because the real one's like that or like that. Yeah. But that one's like this." And that's because we went really quickly to kind of build that. But that original photo we can't find. Couldn't find it. We went to Lucasfilm, we got to the archives, we got all the Yak Face stuff. You got it? But the original photo? Oh, it's you then. It's his fault. It's Paul's fault that it's not on here properly because we couldn't find it anywhere, and I didn't want to scan existing print because you get moire effects and all this kind of stuff. So what we did, we took clearly the next second where he went, "Oh, so you want to take another shot?" And we digitally painted in. And this is where kind of having a little bit of a narrow aspect actually helps. So that was really difficult. So everyone, it's Paul's fault.
Obi-Wan is Walgreens.
Obi-Wan is Walgreens, and live. He has to check. I'll have to check the cavity, but we could possibly adjust the slide in the tooling to accommodate if it doesn't currently, but I will get back to you.
Right.
There we are. So we'll find out.
Our other vintage table. You want to talk about that quickly?
Yeah, just quickly. I mean, this is stuff that's kind of out there. You know, we're seeing wave 2 and wave 3 coming out, which I'm really happy about. Seeing that get into people's hands, that's excellent. We have the special action figure set that we had as an exclusive at San Diego. As we've said before, convention exclusives, we can do the unpunched, but as we go to retail, we should really punch them because lots of little pieces all over the floor. It's a pain. Africard is really kind of cool. The way we you had to invent what she looked like, sort of visually, and kind of represents what we try and do with exclusives. We try and release something that's obviously exclusive and interesting, but then we'll try and get the heart of it out into mainline as well. So you've probably seen that with a lot of exclusives that we do, try and bring it back into mainline. I think Phasma, that was shown at...
Phasma was shown, it was oh well, it was
shown at...
It was a fan vote. So
no, the Canadian, thank you. Thank you. So it's the first time we've kind of seen that pack here.
Phasma, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. And there's the tank, so I love the tank. I love all the feedback on the tank as well. That's been really good. So a lot of people sort of getting that and then just going bats over how detailed that is. So we're working on more vehicles as we speak, plenty more.
And the detail on the tank, so another plug for our live stream tomorrow at 5 o'clock on Sci-Fi. So we've heard from you guys that you kind of like seeing the behind the scenes, and so we're going to dive into that tank, and we've got physical samples of the journey to the final product, and we're going to kind of dive deep there and take you through that.
I
So
rip them open and get some details that you can't see unless you want to rip your own one.
give Mark Vidra a heart attack at home, yeah.
That's the plan.
Yep.
Stress mark out.
So that is our fan line, and obviously those are exciting toys for our adult and our younger fans, but we also got a very exciting kid line as well. I think we're exactly on time, which is probably a first. So we wanted to take you through our kid line as well. So our role play line, obviously role play is foundational to Star Wars. I've used the word foundational a lot. But we know that this is kind of the first handshake that kids have with us. They get involved in Star Wars through role play, and so we always keep that fresh. So we have 3 exciting new additions to our role play line here this fall. These are all on shelf. So these right here are our Kylo Ren and Rey spring action lightsabers. So this goes back to, I'm sure we all kind of, have that experience. We've got our toy lightsaber, and they're all very cool with the kind of, flick to extend, but we really just want that moment of standing there, just like a Jedi or Sith, and pressing the button and having them extend. And so that's how these work. Basically, you do not point them at anyone you like, but there we go. You press the button and they extend and light up and make cool sounds, and all the normal accelerometer stuff that we come to know and love in our role play line. Yeah, exactly. So that is our Kylo item, and then very similarly Rey. Very cool addition to the line. So those are our new kind of high-end toy lightsabers for this fall. And then this guy right here. So as you guys know, we had that Chewbacca mask a few years ago that kind of became big with Chewbacca Mom. And so we wanted to deliver kind of a similarly fun, whimsical experience.
So we need a Yoda dad.
Exactly. If you're out there,
Yoda
put
dad.
that mask on. Facebook live stream it. Candace, if you're out there, absolutely, you can do it as well.
Kids with that at night.
Yeah. So Yoda mask, and basically, it works like you would expect it to. You activate it. No, is this not a
It doesn't work like you expect it to. Patrick, it's all
I hit it. Yeah, I hit it in there.
Yeah, I'm using it. Here it is. I always keep my Yoda in a drawer. And,
Oh!
Alright, I'm not. Oh, God, okay.
Oh, you put.
For 4+, alright, not 46+. Oh. So,
There we go.
hours of fun of I can't even name the species because we don't know.
Yeah.
So, just silly fun.
Yeah.
It's great. That's what Star Wars is about as well. So.
And please, if you beam nothing from this, that image of Steve Evans. I want to see that plastered across the interwebs.
That's alright. You
So
know I'll
that-
do anything to go get on Instagram. So there we go.
So,
Yeah,
Resistance.
announced this morning, I believe, on
Yep.
CNET.com.
Yep.
Resistance, new animation that's coming out pretty soon. We got a line of figures. So we got Kaz, our hero. We got Commander Pyre. We've got Toradoza. We got Von Reg. we got Sonara, we got Poe and BB-8, we got Jaeger and Bucket, and we got our Imperial Stormtrooper. So stylized, kind of cel-shaded animation, kind of very anime inspired, very bright, very colourful. It's kind of like a racing elite, I don't want to say school, elite group of kind of ace racers that kind of live on this sort of floating atoll called the Colossus, and it tells the story of how the First Order is sort of starting to be seen by Leia and Poe and the Resistance, and the sort of forming of the First Order and the forming of the Resistance. Really fun, really bright, really energetic, and so we thought we'd bring out some kind of new stylized characters, 5-point articulated, so kids can kind of really get into that animation show. So I'm looking forward to seeing that in a couple of months whenever they've announced it being released. So there we are. All the helmet. Interesting on this one. I promised never to do banana visors again. So we've got removable helmets where hairstyles are a little bit restrictive. We actually have a kind of swappable head, so you can actually swap Tora's head off for a helmeted with her face inside as well, just so we can kind of keep that fantasy. We don't want to screw around with her buns, because we know buns in Star Wars, sacred. So there we go. And then going to zip across the room. So can you believe it? The year is whizzing by. It's nearly time for holiday time. So our Microforce collection, as you probably know, is little squidgy, kind of funky, fun representations of all the characters. We've got over 50 figures out there at the moment, and we're going to kind of bring them together for an advent calendar, which is, I'm seeing it in the stores now, so it'll be there now. And you get little porks with little Santa hats on. Who could not resist that little baby? So you've got 24, obviously, and you get stickers in there. You can kind of fold this down and create like a little kind of display scene. Real fun, really good. I'm really pleased with how this came out. Artwork's just fun and frivolous. So yeah, Microforce. And then finally, I think we've seen most. You've seen this guy. He's left out. So just a reminder that we have our co-pilot Chewie out there at the moment in stores. Oh, he's in stores now. Yeah, he's out in stores. So hopefully he will find a home underneath lots of people's holiday trees. And it does all this. I've never demonstrated this guy before. We always usually have a person to do it.
You're that person now.
Oh,
put him to bed.
Any of you who are parents know that they never go to sleep as soon as you put them into their... Are you meant to rock him? Hey? He's not snoring. Okay. Ah, there we go. They eventually go.
Just like all kids,
Yeah,
it takes a little while.
A little bit of Benadryl, he's done.
A little melatonin.
So there we go. Now you got to wake up. I think that's it.
That is our line, yeah.